During my treatment, I'm not even sure how I got there. It wasn't my intentions to go there. I don't know if it's hard to believe or not, but I met God twice in two separate treatments. I found myself in this area of just super bright, radiant light, and it was just surrounding you. And I felt I was in the presence of God. I didn't see him. I don't know what he looks like. I just know it was bright white and I could just feel him all around me. And I knew I was in the presence of God. I was like, oh my God, I'm here.
Welcome to the Myself Wellness Podcast. I'm Charles Patty, the voice of Myself Wellness, along with my co-hosts Christina Thomas and Jamie Venziel. 9 years ago, I began my journey to self-awareness and healing. Like many who have faced personal struggles, I felt lost and struggled to find lasting healing. It wasn't until I discovered alternative healing methods that I began to see a real change in my life. This show will help you unlock your true potential through healthy lifestyle practices and transformations. Join us as we explore personal stories, expert advice, and practical tips to help you step into your true potential and level up. Welcome to the Myself Wellness Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Myself Wellness Podcast. Today we're journeying with Wayne Miller. Wayne did treatments at our facility a few months ago, and he had an amazing transformation and healing experience, and we're really excited to dive into it and get all the details. Thanks for being on the show, Wayne.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
So I guess we could start off with how did you find Myself Wellness and what really drew you to us and wanting to start the actual treatments?
Well, my wife is the one who actually found you guys, and I've been dealing with these anger issues pretty much all my life. And, I recently got married, and I just wanted change in my life. And we were looking for different alternatives to find a way to get rid of this anger. And that's how we found you, is on Facebook, as a matter of fact.
I would love to ask, what did you try before you came to us to kind of get this under control that may or may have worked a little bit or not at all or whatever?
Well, we tried a lot of counseling. I tried to stay away from psychotropic medications. I didn't like the fact that they altered your brain and stuff, so I tried to do it more natural. And I really didn't find much that worked. And meeting Dr. Ferber and speaking with Dr. Ferber was just amazing. I mean, he hit the nail right on the head with his diagnosis of why I've been having so many problems. And he actually explained to me that it's misdiagnosed. The problem that I was having was misdiagnosed with more psychological problems, when in fact it was more of like a brain seizure per se. So he's the one who actually recommended the treatments for me.
It's really incredible how many people that come to our facility and meet with Dr. Ferber, and we find out they've been misdiagnosed for a number of years. And that's one of the reasons why they weren't getting the help that they were trying to find. So I'm happy that he could really get that dialed in for you.
Yeah, just amazing doctor. Just amazing doctor, really knows what he's doing. And we just had a great experience thus far with Myself Wellness, and we'll definitely be coming back for many treatments, from time to time, that's for sure.
I appreciate that.
So what would happen? Why you had a lot of anger issues, but what was the catalyst that really made you say, I need help and I think this is going to help me?
Well, if we're being honest here, I got tired of getting arrested and going to jail, and I just wanted a better life for me and my wife. And I just had to figure out a way to control these anger outbursts that I was having, because they were pretty violent and they would come out of nowhere really fast. So,
I love how you opened up and were transparent about that. That's really a big part of my story and journey too, where I tell people jail saves lives. I mean, it's not the best place to go, and I'm definitely not a fan of going, but the last time that I had got in trouble and arrested, I was sitting in jail and I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm just like, nothing's changing. I keep on telling myself I'm not coming back here, and here I am again. And I was just like, something's got to change. And so, I think that for people out there that, have experiences like that and keep having these reoccurring things happen over and over again, there is a better way. And, you can get things under control with therapies like this.
Yeah, no, I think these therapies are absolutely amazing. And I think they can definitely help people with a lot more than what they're intended for. I really do believe that this ketamine treatment can help with so many different problems across the board. So
I know who Wayne is today: entrepreneur, husband, out here doing your thing, grinding all of the time. Where did things start? So it wasn't always good like this.
No.
How was it? What was it like before?
Well, I grew up right here in Naples, so I am a local, wasn't born here, but I did grow up here, and just a really rough childhood, no father in the household, mother raising 4 children on her own. So just a real hard time coming up. I started my company real young, 22, and got addicted to drugs real young, unfortunately. So I spent a lot of years, just doing all the wrong things, for many years.
So before, I don't know, what I was kind of looking for is we go through trials and tribulations leading up to things. Yeah. It was substance abuse for us. And so I was kind of trying to head down that direction, talk about that a little bit.
All right. So I went through the addiction real bad for many, many years, and I managed to get myself clean for a few years, and then I'd get right back into the addiction. Again, not much family support or friend support. All the friends were doing all the wrong things as well. And then about 12 years ago, I went through a major accident. I went through an explosion. I shouldn't be here today. I actually burnt about 60% of my body off. It was pretty traumatic. And to be honest with you, I came out of the hospital, and the first thing I did is I went right back on drugs. And I was sitting there, and a really good friend of mine who's been with me for a long time, me and her went through a lot together throughout the years. And she looked me in the eye, and I could just tell that if I didn't change, I was going to lose my friend. And I looked at her and I said, all right, take me to rehab. And I went to rehab. 5 days later, I realized what I had to do, and I've never turned back since.
That's incredible, man. So not too many people can, do that. And then here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it wasn't just anger. It was PTSD. It was depression, addiction.
Yeah, not necessarily too much depression. I guess drugs definitely make you depressed.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They'll definitely bring your vibration level down. But yeah, a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder from childhood trauma. Dr. Ferber actually pointed a lot of that out. And then addictions. I mean, unfortunately, I can just get addicted to anything. I don't know, just bad addictive personality, unfortunately. But yeah, I just wanted something different for my life,
It's funny because I sit down with entrepreneurs or people that are business owners, and a lot of the times people have backgrounds like ours where it's we have this massively addictive personality. And I love putting that message out over and over again, is that this isn't a bad thing. It's only an unhealthy or bad thing when you have an addictive personality and you're going after things that aren't healthy for you. Yeah. But when you can flip the switch and turn that drive into something positive to go out and chase your dreams or create a company or start a business, and you apply that addictive personality to that, we're literally some of the most relentless, fierce people on the planet, and we can achieve anything.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, you can definitely get addicted to anything, including success.
Yeah.
So, I definitely feel that my addiction now is basically just being addicted to doing better and better every day. So
heck yeah.
It's a
I'm
good
definitely
addiction
grateful
to have.
for my self-wellness. I will tell you that. Me and my wife both.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're totally different from when you came in that first time. Your energy is just, it's glowing and it's beautiful, and you're more open now.
Thank you.
And it's a really great transformation to watch.
Thank you so much. My wife is definitely just very impressed.
Heck yeah, man.
Because I didn't even realize how good I was doing. I was like, hey, babe, do you think I'm doing better? And she's like, oh my God. She's like, is that even a question? She's like, you were having mental breakdowns every 2 to 3 days, breaking stuff, and I didn't know where it was coming from. Just out of nowhere, just these eruptions, smashing cabinets, just craziness.
Well, I thought you were doing a demolition. Aren't you?
I
was flipping a house or something?
Yes. I did do a demo on a house, but unfortunately that had nothing to do with anger issues. It would have came apart a lot easier if it was.
So I'd love to ask you, this is something that is one of my favorite parts to get into when we're talking to people about the sessions is, well, first, before I even say that, how was it when you first came to the clinic? How was the atmosphere? What were the staff members like? Was everybody good to you? Things like that.
How did they make you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the facility is very well set up, very well organized, extremely clean. I think when I first walked in, my first impression was, these people are very professional, very courteous, very kind, very sensitive to your feelings. So I felt very comfortable right from the get-go. I mean, I was brought in, you guys walked me around the whole facility, showed me all the different types of rooms, explained everything that you do in detail. So it was very informative and, again, extremely professional setting. So you guys are just doing a phenomenal job with that.
Thank you very much.
It means a lot.
So now to get into the question that I wanted to ask you a second ago. What were was there a treatment or an experience or a couple of them or however many where you had a super profound experience and it lasted with you and made a real impact in your life?
Yeah, I will tell you, I've had several treatments now, and my first 3 treatments were just, I think, the groundbreaking experiences. My first treatment, I went in there and it's so crazy because I was just so lost and I'm trying to figure out this anger issue, and everything inside that treatment, it was very strange. Like, everything told me that everything was love. Like, everything is healed with love. And that just kept playing over and over and over again in the first treatment. Everything is love. And that really stuck with me. You know what I mean? It made me feel really good coming out of it. And I went home immediately and I told my wife about this experience. And I'm like, oh my God, everything's love. Like, everything is healed through love.
Heck yeah.
And I'm getting goosebumps sitting here telling you the story. And the second treatment that I was in, I was really focused going in, So now when I sit down for the treatment, before it starts, I really try to get a grasp on what I want to do while I'm in there. And the second treatment, I was really focused on just getting rid of these anger issues. I'm like, I got to find where these anger issues are stemming from. Where are they located inside my head? And it was so crazy because I managed to find myself in this place inside my head that was like all of these old files. And I don't know if that sounds crazy or not, but that's where the anger was stored. And I was in there and I was like, you know what? I don't need this anymore. And inside my head, I was literally like deleting these files of anger. It's the only way I can describe it, like a computer in there, just deleting files, being like, I don't need this anymore. And when I came out of that session is when I really noticed the difference in myself. And the days following that, I really noticed a major difference. Like, I just felt so much better. Like, I really did get rid of a lot of the areas of anger that were stored up. So
I love the analogy that you just used about it, deleting files. Yeah. I tell people ketamine therapy is like a Control-Alt-Delete for the old program that no longer serves us anymore. And then it allows us to start putting a new program into place. So that actually completely resonated with me. I also noticed on my own healing journey that it made me less reactive, which is basically like with a lot of the stuff that you're talking about right now. I was able to sit in the thought for a second before I had an outburst, because I used to be very similar to you in a lot of aspects like that. And so for people out there that might be, having these peaks and valleys that they go through in their mood and demeanor, I know for me, it brought me to the most cool, calm, centered, and collected place that I'd ever been in my entire life.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because that's exactly how I feel anymore. When things are getting me upset or something's happening with a client, you know how that can go. I can feel the aggression building up inside my chest like it used to, but instead of the eruption happening, I seem to have more control over the buildup of anxiety, and it seems to just kind of wash away after a few minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to let this bother me anymore. I'm just not going to let this bother me. And the craziest one of all is even in traffic. We all know
that's
how
Charles's trigger.
Yeah, you don't have to have an anger problem to get mad in traffic around here, okay? Everybody is horrible driving, even myself sometimes. But even in traffic, which is just amazing, because I was the guy that got out of your car at the stop sign, was beating on your window, being like, what? My wife holding onto my shirt so I don't get out.
We're nothing alike. I promise.
No, absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, even in traffic, and I don't know if it's because I'm making a conscious effort to try to control my temper because I want to be better, but even in traffic, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, you know what? Look at these idiots. Look at these stupid people. Or before I just get irate, get the feeling in your chest. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that burning in your chest, that anger building up. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to let these people bother me today. You know, I got things to do. I'm not going to let this upset my day. If they want to act like a jerk on the road, I guess that's on them. I'll just slow down so I'm out of their way. So
I love that you're not letting people take your peace.
I'm trying not to. I'm so much happier nowadays. And I'd like to keep it.
Good thing the two of you never like honked at each other on the road.
I was just coming up with a whole new marketing campaign in my head, and I'm just like, road rage. Yeah. I'm like, do you suffer from road rage? Come to my self-wellness.
Self-wellness, absolutely.
No, it's like, it's funny though, because it's not just us. A ton of people that we treat tell me the same thing. They're like, I used to flip out during traffic all the time. And they're like, I just don't do it anymore. Like, I'm so much more calm. People don't get to me like that anymore. I think we're on to something.
Yeah, you definitely are. Now, I will say this, the traffic is the one that still gets me the most, but I'm able to control it a whole lot better. You know, like I said, my necks aren't stretched out anymore from somebody grabbing my shirt.
So you said the first 3 were like this major impact. When did you notice the real healing benefits of the medicine start to like take effect?
I'll tell you, the first 3 treatments were the most amazing. And then after the 3rd treatment is when I realized that I have control of this drug in a sense, of this medication in a sense. If you go into it knowing what you want to accomplish before you go into it, I definitely believe that you're able to go in there, and if you not only like low self-esteem or you're having problems talking in public or whatever the case may be, I really believe that if you focus on what you want to accomplish while you're under the medication, that it really can be beneficial for almost anything, once you learn how to control the medicine per se, because I can hear myself the entire time and I'm able to actually take myself to different places while I'm under the medicine.
Intention, everyone.
Intention.
Having the proper intentions and knowing what you're going into the session. This is why we have people meet with Gina beforehand.
She's wonderful too, by the way.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And she really is. But setting the intentions before you going into the sessions. And I tell people that too, exactly with what you're talking about in the other aspect, where ketamine can be very navigatable. It's like you're going in one direction in your treatment or your journey, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm good there, and I'm going to go this way now. And it's almost like you literally take a right turn, and then you start like heading in the direction of something else you need to work on. I've never had any of the other psychedelic medicines that I've experienced that were navigatable like that. It's like I was almost driving the trip.
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. You can literally just hear yourself the whole way. It's the craziest thing about these treatments is I really truly believe that you're almost tapping into your subconscious. That little voice that you hear inside your head that tells you right from wrong, the little angel and little devil on your shoulder per se. But I really believe that you're able to tap into your subconscious, and that's why you're able to heal so much from it, because you're able to get to areas of your brain that you may have locked away deliberately because you don't want to remember them or you don't want to go back there. And this medication allows you to go in there and just be able to see things almost at face value and maybe sort through the reasoning why you don't want to think about it and so forth like that.
Ketamine taps you into what's already there and it brings it to the surface. And then it's our responsibility to do something with that. Now that we have this lesson and we have this insight, it's time for us to apply it. And that's why integration with Gina is so important too, because she helps you make so much sense of all of these things that come up for you.
Yeah, and she's always like, "What are your intentions? What are your intentions today?" Every time, "What are your intentions?" I'm like, "Well, today I'd like to concentrate on certain things." And I mean, not only with the anger, self-limitations. One of my treatments, I was really focused on, I'm always wanting to be better than I was yesterday. I always want to improve myself, whether it be anger or whether it be the decisions I make or even financial goals, just whatever the case may be. I always try to get better and better and better. And I realized for myself that I mentally set like roadblocks without even realizing it. I set limitations to myself and what I can accomplish.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I won't be able to do this. Maybe I won't be able to do that. And one of my treatments, I went in there and I like convinced myself like nothing's impossible. I mean, I literally got in there and I was like, look, nothing's impossible. Set your mind to it and just make it happen. And again, I just came out feeling much more clear. And the next day I was like, you know what, we can do this, and we started it with our real estate and things of that nature. So
Heck yeah. So that'll lead into this next question. Do you feel, because we hear this from a lot of people that are entrepreneurs or that run companies, where I know that ketamine therapy made me a better business person and a better entrepreneur, and it helped me get rid of limitations that I had. Do you feel like it made you more efficient and better in your business?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, well, first off, having anger problems in business is not really good business practice. You know, you can't be yelling at people when they upset you. So absolutely, the therapy, the ketamine therapy has just helped out a lot. You know, I'm able to control the situations better. And
one thing I noticed from my personal life is like running the streets for a lot of years like I did, and I know that we have a similar background in that aspect. Moving into entrepreneurship, it was hard turning that off sometimes, like with like when somebody tries you or something, or somebody says something sideways to you. In business, I've had to learn how to, as Derek would say, eat a shit sandwich a lot of the time and smile while doing it. That even means the aspect of like, you know, you might make somebody upset or whatever, and they say something to you sideways that normally I would have popped off on them for, but I had to sit in that. And I think ketamine therapy helped me so much with that because I'm so much less reactive these days.
no, yeah, definitely talking about being reactive. You're absolutely right. I mean, instead of just snapping a finger and responding to whatever's happening with you, it definitely allows you to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, how do I want to respond to this?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a benefit there, how fast you react to something. You definitely are able to take a step back and be like, all right, how do I want to handle this situation? And in my industry, I'll tell you, I do get a lot of interesting people. So I don't know what it is about cars, but it sure puts people on edge.
So a lot of our clients that go through sessions have some truly like profound spiritual or like burning bush experiences, as Christina likes to call it, conversations with God. Did you have any treatments that were reminiscent of that?
Yes, I had 2 of them. I had 3 really intense experiences. And during my treatment, I'm not even sure how I got there. You know, it wasn't my intentions to go there, and I don't know if it's hard to believe or not, but I met God twice.
Wow.
In 2 separate treatments. I found myself in this area of just super bright, radiant light, and it was just surrounding you. And I felt I was in the presence of God. I didn't see him. I don't know what he looks like. I just know it was bright white, and I could just feel him all around me. And I knew I was in the presence of God. I was like, oh my God, I'm here. And that's actually happened twice, and just an amazing experience. And I had this not religious experience, but I had this other experience where I went into this area, and it was like an alarm clock going off, like the old style square GE alarm clocks that we all had back in the 80s. And it was like this ringing consistently noise, and I felt like I died. I felt like that was it. I was dying right then. And it was explained to me that that was more like a rebirth. You know, maybe the old me was dying and the new me was being reborn. So, you know, I suppose that could be a religious experience as well. But yeah, the 2 God experiences were super intense.
You know, it's like it might sound crazy to some people out there, but like I know it does. It's like I had it. I get it. And it's like it's one of the most, if not the most powerful transformational experience that I ever had in my life, because you know, that's a big puzzle piece that's missing for a lot of people, the knowing factor. We have a lot of believers, and I'm like, I always wanted to believe, but I've also always been one of those I got to see it to believe it kind of guys. Oh. And having that kind of experience completely shifted everything for me, because I used to walk in faith, but now it's just like, it's almost like it's not even like I have faith in something, because faith is just believing without seeing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, well, now what? Now we are limitless. Now I can do anything. Now I can accomplish anything because God is there, and God's been walking with me throughout this entire process.
No, absolutely. The bad stuff and the good stuff, you know, he's right there. He's put you right where you need to be, right when you need to be there. So I truly do believe that the Define is very interesting experience throughout my life. And I look back on it, and you know, when I was in it, when I was in the addictions, when I was in those horrible places, I was homeless. When I was in those places, obviously I didn't know why I was there. You know, obviously the drugs, you know, why I was there, but I didn't know why I was there. I was like, no, I don't deserve this. I should be in a better place. And looking back, I was exactly where I was supposed to be at that particular moment. Because maybe when I got to where I am now, I wouldn't appreciate it as much as I do, because I had to go through what I had to go through to get where I'm at. So.
Well, think about how many people that you're going to help with your story now.
Yeah.
See, like, that's the thing, man. When I say God was with us the entire time, I want people to know that are in active addiction or going through substance abuse issues out there that, like, God's with you now too. Like, while you're in the muck of it all, but you're going through it for a reason, for a purpose. And, you know, listen, like, some of my friends, including one of my best friends, died of an overdose. And there's not much I can look at that and say, like, oh, well, wow, that's a super positive situation. But it isn't. But you know what? The story will affect somebody. Like, knowing that could possibly happen if you don't try to get your life together, or, you know, like, if everybody had a recovery story where it's like, well, I went to the complete depths of hell and then I made it out of it or whatever, it almost wouldn't be as bad as if, like, some people have to go through the process of this, because that's going to scare some people into not going down that path. But when you can go through trials and tribulations like you did, where, like you said, you know, you got blown up basically, and you were homeless and, like, all of these things, and then to completely flip it around and turn it to where you're at now, that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That gives people that are in that situation, like, oh, well, listen, if he did it, I can do it. And that's what I get a lot of the time nowadays too, is like, well, people from my past that saw me in the muck of it, and, like, nobody thought I was making it out, man. And then all of a sudden they see me now and they're like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you do? Because, like, if you did that and it worked for you, well, then I definitely got to do this, because I think it could work for me too.
No, absolutely. I got a lot of friends. Unfortunately, some of them passed away as well. They didn't make it out. You know, they stayed in their addiction and they died because of it. And then I have a lot of other friends that did make it out of their addiction, and they're doing good in their lives. I mean, they're getting by, they're doing what they got to do. And they look at me and they're like, Wayne, how did you do this? You know, 12 years ago, you were homeless, and just look at you. You got this thriving business. You got a beautiful wife, a beautiful home. You know, you're buying rental properties. Like, you just made such a turn. And I tell them, I said, listen, it's all about mindset. You know, it just depends on what you truly want out of your life. And if you can visually see where you want to be, then you're already there. All you got to do is take one step in the right direction and continue on that path, and you'll get exactly where you want to be every time.
I love how you said that, because one of the things that I know about the way that I used to live my life, and where I see so many people fail or not have things go the way that they were hoping or expecting or wanting to, is that they quit.
Yeah.
They just stopped. I'm a believer that if you are going after something and you're manifesting the life of your dreams, that, like you said, we're limitless. We can accomplish anything that we want. But the one thing that's going to prevent us from getting there
Is quitting.
is quitting.
That's right.
And it's because people want instant gratification. They're not willing to put the time and the work in. People get in the victim mentality and don't realize that while God's molding them to get this manifestation, they think that God's beating them up and just being unfair, when it's just like, you have to go through this process. Diamonds are created under pressure.
Sure, yes.
And a lot of people can't take the pressure, man.
Was there any time where you felt, even if it was before you started treatments, that maybe, is there any, like, negative thoughts around it? Maybe this isn't going to work for me, or even through your journey, was there any time that you thought, I don't know if this is going to work for me?
No, I never really thought, you know, well, is this going to work or isn't this going to work? I definitely kept an open mindset about it. And again, I really want to change. I mean, I don't think anybody can change unless they want it. You know, you have to want it. You know, I don't care what the treatment is, you know, you got to want to change. And I just wanted it really bad. I got an amazing wife that I don't deserve. And I just wanted to give her the best life that I could. And I knew it started with change in me to be able to give that to her.
Did you think that the treatments, did you have any like negative thoughts about it? Or did you, cause like a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I've tried everything else. And like, why is this going to work for me? Or like, oh, hey, isn't ketamine a horse tranquilizer? And why am I going to take some horse tranquilizer that's going to fix my life?
But no negative outlooks on it. I was very open-minded. And to be honest with you, I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what to expect. I played around with a lot of psychedelics when I was young, had a lot of fun with them. Mushrooms, LSD, I traveled around with a bunch of hippies for a long time, had a great time, but it was different. It wasn't medicinal. It was more just good times. This is definitely more medicinal, but no, I didn't have any expectations of the medication. But when I came out of the first treatment is when I realized just how strong this medication is and what the potentials of it are.
So you were talking about previous use of psychedelics and more of like a recreational or a sense with like to party and stuff. What's the major difference? And not with the intention, because I know that the intention was different with the way that you went into these sessions. But compared to the other psychedelics, how would you describe ketamine? Even like in a therapeutic sense or anything?
The other psychedelics kind of led you where it wanted to lead you, in a sense. You didn't have as much control over the other psychedelics. So I guess it depends on what kind of music you were listening to or who you were hanging out with or what their mindset would take you on these different experiences, to where the ketamine therapy allows you to really focus on what you want to get in there and go after. I think you have a lot more control in the ketamine treatments than you do just with recreational, like LSD or mushrooms or per se things like that. It ain't about colors and giggling and laughing and watching the music, take place in front of you. This definitely is about going in there and really helping you achieve what you want to achieve while you're under the therapy. So,
heck yeah, man.
The intentionality is everything.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, it's your intention to party and go have fun and watch colors,
That's exactly
which is
what
really
you have.
great. It's fun to watch colors, or is your intention to come in and put an eye mask on and get the most out of your treatment and heal?
I noticed that when people come in and they're just ready, like they just want it so badly, and their intention is, I'm tired of feeling the way that I feel, or I'm tired of living the way that I've been living, and I'm ready for a change. When somebody really just comes in with that kind of attitude, kind of like the way that you did, that's when the medicine just completely takes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think you got
If you're resistant to change, it's probably not going to work as well.
No, absolutely not. I agree with you 100%.
Dr. Ferber won't even approve somebody if a loved one is forcing them in.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to really do it.
No, that makes perfect sense too. I mean, because if you don't want to change, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to change. But I mean, if you want to feel better and you want to be happier and you don't want to be depressed and you don't want to be angry or you don't want to be addicted to these substances that are holding on to you, and you're really willing to put in the legwork to make the changes, then I do believe that the ketamine therapy can help just anybody overcome any problems that they may be having. So again, you definitely got to want it. You definitely got to want it.
Heck yeah, man.
If you had a message for somebody that was on the fence about doing treatments, what would that message be?
Well, if they want it and they're just nervous about the treatment itself, I figured they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. Go in, do the treatment. If you absolutely can't stand it, at least you were willing to try. But I don't think anybody's going to go in there and do a treatment and be like, oh my God, I hate this. This is awful, because it's just not. It's just not. It's a wonderful experience. It's very enlightening. And what would I say to anybody? I mean, you got to give it a try. I mean, change is out there. Help is out there. If they're feeling some sort of way and they're on the fence, just take the leap and get the help that you deserve. So that's what I would say. Just take a leap of faith and get that help.
That's beautiful.
Did you think it was going to work as well as it did?
I'll tell you, I would have done anything for my wife at that point, but I mean, I would have lied to her and told her I was happy-go-lucky, but no, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if I can say that I was open-minded going in there. I was open-minded about wanting change, and I knew I needed change. Did I feel like it was going to work going in there? I have no idea. I've never done it before. I didn't hear any of the stories. I never got to, talk to you guys in the, previous, before going into the treatment. So did I think it was going to work? I really didn't know. I didn't have any expectations going into it. But once I was talking to the nurse, within 5 minutes, I was sold. I was like, all right, where do we sign? Let's do this. I mean, what do I got to lose? And just best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made.
That's a powerful statement right there,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Yeah.
Definitely changed my outlook on a lot of things.
Heck yeah, man.
Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hot seat question.
What?
If you had one message for the world, what would it be?
Love is everything.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. It's funny because you keep on, you were talking about that throughout the show, how like you got this overwhelming message that like everything's love. Love is love's the answer. And I was just going to get into Dr. Ferber's huge philosophy is that love is the healing force. And I was talking to him a couple nights ago because he's like, why do you think this stuff works so well? He's like, what do you think? And I believe, like he talks about, that it unblocks our own loving, healing energy within us. And it really allows us to start loving ourselves more, which trickles out into us being better for other people. Absolutely. And, I don't know if there was anything else that made me get there like ketamine did. And I think it sounds so crazy. Like even for people listening out there, it's like, oh, ketamine made me love myself more. It's like, but it actually did. And it's not just me and it's not just you. Like so many people that we treat come out of their treatments. And like I had a guy who was, mid 30s, came out of his first, I think it was his first or second treatment, and he was in tears. He was just bawling. And one of the nurses walked in and they're like, hey, like, how you doing? You okay? And he's like, I just love myself for the first time in my entire life. And he's like, mid 30s and the transformation that, and he'll be okay with me saying it, it's a guy, Sean, who I'm really good friends with now. And he's one of our like biggest success stories. He looks like a completely different person now from when he first came in. And it's because he started doing better things for himself. I remember he was coming out of his treatments and he was like journaling down vitamins that he was thinking about taking and like stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it does that for you too. So like one thing I would love to ask you is, has there been any like shifts or changes in things that you do in like your daily habits or anything since you've done the treatments with us?
I do wake up now at 5 a.m. and hit the gym for an hour.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
I was doing every night. We got a gym at the house, but I was working out every night. And I just wanted to be more productive. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, it just made me feel so good that I just wanted to start my day a little bit earlier. And I know working out always makes me feel good. So I started working out earlier and eating a lot better and stuff like that. What was the question?
No, that was the answer.
Okay, perfect.
and like, see, one thing I want to let everybody know that like Wayne's doing out there that we encourage everybody else to do too is that, this guy's eating healthy, he's exercising, he's doing all of the other healthy lifestyle practices that we encourage people to do. And, recently I ate like crap for a week, and it was just because like, we were on vacation and I wasn't in my, normal setting, and I was eating some sugars and processed foods that I might not normally be indulging in. And after about 4 days of doing that, my body started hurting, my mental health started shifting a little bit. And so you could be doing all of the psychedelic therapy that you want out there, and you could be doing all of this self-work and everything, and even exercising and going to the gym. But if you're not eating properly, all of that's going to affect you in a negative way as well.
Yeah, no, everything that you put in your body definitely affects you, whether it's medication or food. So I definitely do. You definitely need to, monitor, if it's medications, how much medications and so forth like that, and what kind of food you're eating and so forth, how many times a day you're eating. You want to keep your energy levels up, and working out is just a great endorphin booster. You work out really hard to where you're sweating and you just feel so good. Well, after, you're sore and so forth like that, but you just have this boost of energy. And again, eating right definitely makes a big difference in a lot of people's lives.
Heck yeah. One last thing I want to talk about, because I know that you're like very much into the laws of attraction like I am. And what the laws of attraction state for people that are listening to this out there is that we attract who we are. We're magnets. And so you can verbally say things that sound great, but if inside you're hurting or you're not vibrating at the right frequency, you're not going to be attracting the most positive things or the best things into your life. And it's a continuous journey of elevating that and manifesting and attracting better things into our lives. And I know for me that psychedelic therapy and ketamine therapy helped me manifest a better life and manifest more positive things into my life, because once I went in and did the internal work, it echoed out into my life, where then things started to get better. Did you notice that through the process of your treatments, or by going deep within and doing this inner healing, that it started to attract more positive situations into your life?
Yeah, with the vibrational state, absolutely. I'll tell you what, when you're going around and you're angry every day and you don't know why, well, that anger puts you at a lower vibration because you're angry. You know, anger is a very low form of a very low vibration, you know, where happy and love is very high vibration. You know, again, love is everything, you know, it brings you to a higher state of vibration. But no, absolutely. Once I was able to control some of the anger and figure out where it was coming from, you know, I definitely felt like I was operating on a higher vibrational state. I wasn't getting angry, so therefore I wasn't bringing my vibrations down. I was staying like positive and happy and motivated. And again, that's all like really high vibrational areas. And the treatments just allowed me to stay more positive on a daily basis, which raised my vibrational state most definitely. You know, anger is definitely a very low place to be. You know, like depression, I think it's pretty much the same. Just drags you down. You know, just drags you down.
Heck yeah, I can relate. Well, do you have any other burning questions that you'd like to ask Wayne today?
I don't. Thank you for being here.
No burning
questions.
All right.
This was this was an amazing episode. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on the show and sharing some of your experience with people. I know that this is going to get out there and it's going to shed light and open the door for a lot more people to be open to these kind of therapies.
Oh, I would definitely suggest ketamine therapy for anybody who's on the cusp of trying to decide whether or not they want to or not. But bottom line is you have to want to change.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to fix you unless you're willing to fix yourself.
For sure.
So.
I love that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
No,
it's so true.
No, it's 100% true. Like this is like, you know, that's the perfect thing to say to people. Like if you want to change and you're looking for a change and you're ready for a change, this is it.
Yeah, it's definitely all a state of mind.
Heck
Where
yeah.
do you want to be?
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for journeying with us on another episode of the My Self Wellness Podcast. And just remember, if nobody's told you that they love you lately, we do. Have a blessed day, everyone.